Ezekiel 31 to 33. And it came to pass in the 11th year, in the 3rd month, on the 1st day of the month, that the word of Yahweh came to me, saying, Son of man, tell Pharaoh king of Egypt and his multitude, Whom are you like in your greatness? Behold, Assyria was like a cedar in Lebanon, with beautiful branches, and with a forest-like shade of high stature, and its top was among the thick boughs. The waters nourished it, the deep made it to grow, its rivers ran all around its plantation, and it sent out its channels to all the trees of the field. Therefore its stature was exalted above all the trees of the field, and its boughs were multiplied. Its branches became long by reason of many waters, when it spread them out. All the birds of the sky made their nests in its boughs. Under its branches all the animals of the field gave birth to their young, and all great nations lived under its shadow. Thus was it beautiful in its greatness, and in the length of its branches, for its root was by many waters. The city of the garden of God could not hide it. The cypress trees were not like its boughs. The pine trees were not as its branches, nor was any tree in the garden of God like it in its beauty. I made it beautiful by the multitude of its branches, so that all the trees of Eden that were in the garden of God envied it. Therefore, this is what Adonai Yahweh says, because you are exalted in stature, and he has set his top among the thick boughs, and his heart is lifted up in his height. I will even deliver him into the hand of the mighty one of the nations. He will surely deal with him. I have driven him out for his wickedness. Strangers, the tyrants of the nations, have cut him off and have left him. His branches have fallen on the mountains and in all the valleys, and his boughs are broken by all the ravines of the land. All the prophets of the earth have gone down from his shadow and left him. All the birds of the sky will dwell on his ruin, and all the animals of the field will be on his branches, to the end that none of all the trees by the waters exalt themselves in their stature, and do not set their tops among the thick boughs. Their mighty ones do not stand up on their height, even all who drink water, for they are all delivered to death, to the lower part of the earth among the children of men, with those who go down to the pit. This is what Adonai Yahweh says. In the day when he went down to Sheol, I caused a mourning. I covered the deep for him, and I restrained its rivers. The great waters were stopped. I caused Lebanon to mourn for him, and all the trees of the fields fainted for him. I made the nations to shake the sound of his fall. When I cast him down to Sheol with those who will descend into the pit, all the trees of Eden, the choice of the best of Lebanon, all that drink water, were comforted in the lower parts of the earth. They also went down into Sheol with him who was slain by the sword, yes, those who were his arm, who lived under his shadow in the middle of the nations. To whom are you thus like in the glory of the greatness of the trees of Eden? Yet you will be brought down with the trees of Eden to the lower parts of the earth. You will lie in the middle of the uncircumcised with those who are slain with the sword. This is Pharaoh and all his multitude, says Yahweh, Adonai Yahweh. In the 12th year, in the 12th month, on the 1st day of the month, the word of Yahweh came to me, saying, Son of man, take up a lamentation over Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and tell him, You were likened to a young lion of the nations, yet you were a monster in the seas. You broke out with your rivers, you troubled the waters with your feet, and fouled their rivers. This is what Adonai Yahweh says, I will spread out my net on you with a company of many peoples, and they will bring you up in my net. I will leave you on the land. I will cast you out on the open field. I will cause all the birds of the sky to settle on you. I will satisfy the animals of the whole earth with you. I will lay your flesh on the mountains. And fill the valleys with your height. I will also water the land in which you swim with your blood, even to the mountains, and the ravines will be full of you. When I extinguish you, I will cover the heavens and make its star dark. I will cover the sun with a cloud, and the moon will not give its light. I will make all the bright lights of the heaven dark over you, and set darkness on your land, says Adonai Yahweh. I will also trouble the hearts of many people, when I bring destruction among the nations, in the countries which you have not known. Yes, I will make many peoples amazed at you, and their kings will be horribly afraid of you. When I brandish my sword before them, they will tremble at every moment, every man for his own life in the day of your fall. For this is what Adonai Yahweh says: the sword of the king of Babylon will come on you. I will cause your multitude to fall by the sword of the mighty. They will all be ruthless of the nations. They will bring the pride of Egypt to nothing, and all its multitude will be destroyed. I will destroy also all its animals from beside many waters. The foot of man will not trouble them any more, nor will the hoofs of animals trouble them. Then I will make their waters clear, and cause their rivers to run like oil, says Adonai Yahweh. When I make the land of Egypt desolate and waste, a land destitute of that which was full, when I strike all those who dwell therein, then they will know that I am Yahweh. This is the lamentation with which they will lament. The daughters of the nations will lament with this. They will lament with it over Egypt and over all her multitude, says Adonai Yahweh. Also in the 12th year, on the 15th day of the month, the word of Yahweh came to me, saying, Son of man, wail for the multitude of Egypt, and cast them down, even her and the daughters of the famous nations, to the lower parts of the earth, with those who go down into the pit. Whom do you pass in beauty? Go down and be laid with the uncircumcised. They will fall among those who are slain by the sword. She is delivered to the sword. Draw her away with all her multitudes. The strong among the mighty will speak to him out of the middle of Sheol, with those who help him. They have gone down, the uncircumcised lie still slain by the sword. Ashur is there with all her company. Her graves are all around her. All of them slain, fallen by the sword, whose graves are set in the uttermost parts of the pit. And her company is around her grave, all of them slain, fallen by the sword, who cause terror in the land of the living. There is Elam, and all of her multitude around her grave, all them slain, fallen by the sword, who have gone down to the uncircumcised into the lower parts of the earth, who caused their terror in the land of the living, and have borne their shame with those who go down to the pit. They have set her bed among the slain with all her multitude. Her graves are around her, all of them uncircumcised, slain by the sword, for their terror was caused by the land of the living, and they have borne their shame with those who go down into the pit. He is put among those who are slain. There is Meshech, Tubal, and all their multitude. Their graves are all around them. All of them are uncircumcised, slain by the sword, for they caused their terror in the land of the living. They will not lie with the mighty who are fallen of the uncircumcised, who have gone down to Sheol with their weapons of war, and have laid their swords under their heads, and their iniquity are on their bones. For they were the terror of the mighty of the land of the living. But you will be broken among the uncircumcised, and will lie with those who are slain by the sword. There is Edom, her kings, and all her princes, who in their might are laid with those who are slain by the sword. They will lie with the uncircumcised, and with those who go down to the pit. They are the princes of the north, all of them, and all the Sidonians, who have gone down with the slain. They are put to shame with terror, with which is caused by their might. They lie uncircumcised, those who are slain by the sword, and bear their shame with those who go down to the pit. Pharaoh will see them, and will be comforted over all his multitude, even Pharaoh and all his army, slain by the sword, says Adonai Yahweh. For I have put his terror in the land of the living. He will be laid among the uncircumcised with those who are slain by the sword, even Pharaoh and all his multitude, says Adonai Yahweh. The word of Yahweh came to me, saying, Son of man, speak to the children of your people, and tell them, when I bring the sword upon the land, and the people in the land, take a man from among them, and set him for their watchman. If when he sees the sword come on the land, he blows the shofar and warns the people, then whoever hears the sound of the shofar and does not heed the warning, if the sword comes and takes him away, his blood will be on his own head. He heard the sound of the shofar and did not take warning, his blood will be on him. Whereas, if he heeded the warning, he would have delivered his soul. But if the watchman sees the sword come and does not blow the shofar, and the people are not warned, and the sword comes and takes any person from among them, he is taken away in his iniquity. But his blood I will require at the watchman's hand. So you, son of man, I have set you as a watchman to the house of Israel. Therefore hear the word of my mouth, and give them warning for me. When I tell the wicked, O wicked man, you will surely die, and do not speak to warn the wicked from his way, that wicked man will die in his iniquity, but I will require his blood on your hand. Nevertheless, if you warn the wicked of his way and turn from it, and he does not turn from his way, he will die in his iniquity, but you have delivered your soul. You, son of man, tell the house of Israel, you say this, O transgressions, and our sins are on us, and we pine away in them. How then can we live? Tell them, as I live, says Adonai Yahweh, I have no pleasure in the death of the wicked. But the wicked, turn from his ways and live. Turn from your evil ways, for you will die, house of Israel. And you, son of man, tell the children of your people, the righteousness of the righteous will not deliver him in the day of his transgression, and as for the wickedness of the wicked, he will not fall by in the day he turns from his wickedness, neither will he who is righteous be able to live in it by the day that he sins. When I tell the righteous that he will surely live, if he trusts in his righteousness and commits iniquity, none of his righteous deeds will be remembered, but he will die in his iniquity that he has committed. Again, when I say to the wicked, you will surely die, if he turns from his sin and does that which is lawful and right, if the wicked restore the pledge, give again that which he has taken by robbery, walk in the statutes of life, committing no iniquity, he will surely live, he will not die. None of his sins that he committed will be remembered against him. He has done that which is lawful and right, he will surely live. Yet the children of the people say, the way of Adonai is not fair. But as for them, their way is not fair. When the righteous turns from his righteousness and commits iniquity, he will surely die therein. When the wicked turns from his wickedness and does that which is lawful and right, he will live by it. Yet you say the way of Adonai is not fair, house of Israel. I will judge every one of you after his ways. In the 12th year of our captivity, in the 10th month, on the 5th day of the month, one who had escaped out of Jerusalem came to me, saying, the city has been defeated. Now the hand of Yahweh has been on me in the evening before he who has escaped came. And he had opened my mouth until he came to me this morning, and my mouth was opened, and I was no longer mute. The word of Yahweh came to me, saying, Son of man, those who inhabit the waste places in Eretz Yisrael, I speak, saying, Abraham was one, and he inherited the land, but we are many, the land is given for us for inheritance. Therefore tell them, this is what Adonai Yahweh says, you eat with the blood, and lift up your eyes to your idols, and shed blood. So should you possess the land? You stand on your sword, you work abomination, and every one of you defiles his neighbor's wife. So should you possess the land? You shall tell them, this is what Adonai Yahweh says, as I live, surely those who are in the waste places fall by the sword. I will give he who is in the open field to the animals to be devoured, and those who are in the strongholds and in the caves will die of pestilence. I will make the land a desolation and an astonishment, and the pride of her power will cease, and the mountain of Israel will be desolate, so that no one will pass through. Then they will know that I am Yahweh. When I have made the land desolation and astonishment because of their abominations which they have committed, as for you, son of man, the children of your people talk about you by the walls and in the doors and the houses, and speak to one another, everyone to his brother, saying, please come and hear what the word is that comes out from Yahweh. They come to you as the people come, and they sit before you as the people, and they hear your words, but do not know them. For with their mouth they show much love, but in their hearts go after their gain. Behold, they are to them as a very lovely song, and one who has a pleasant voice, and can play well on an instrument, for they hear your words, but they do not do them. When this comes to pass, behold, it comes, when they will know that a prophet has been among them.